It's not in our interest to be merging a military with a military that presents a clear and present danger to our own country. I don't want to hold hands with somebody who has blood on their hands.
No. I think all people are capable of evil. I certainly am, and I think all of us are capable of genocide. I believe that because I know what human nature is. But there's only one country committing it right now. I mean, we don't need to guess. Is the Israeli government evil? Yes. I mean, obviously. Murdering children is evil, no matter who does it, period. They don't get a pass. It's a universal standard. So the idea that we would merge with that of all militaries.
Well, again, I agree with that, Tucker. And I wouldn't want to merge with any military. I don't even like NATO for that matter.
I totally agree.
Because I don't want anybody acting and trying to drag us into conflicts. Our founders warned, beware of foreign entanglements.
Yes.
Yeah, blending the militaries of the United States and Israel is a bad enough idea. But the idea actually gets much worse because it also includes a connection in the intelligence services that's unprecedented, and that hasn't been talked about very much. But I let the clip run a little longer than I needed to because Tucker Carlson saying that you're capable of genocide because he understands human nature is the most outrageous thing I've seen in the last few years. And there have been so many outrageous episodes. But him saying that takes the cake. In case you missed it, I'm going to roll it again.
No. I think all people are capable of evil. I certainly am. And I think all of us are capable of genocide. I believe that because I know what human nature is. I think all people are capable of evil. I certainly am. And I think all of us are capable of genocide. I think all of us are capable of genocide. I believe that. It's, again, terrifying because Israel is a criminal state at this point. It's committing genocide in the same way that Nazi Germany committed genocide, or the government of Rwanda committed genocide in 1994. It doesn't mean Israel is forever evil or the people who live there are the most evil people in the world. From a Christian, my perspective, with Christian perspective, evil resides in the heart of everyone. And I'm capable of genocide. I'm not proud of that. I'm ashamed of it, but we're all capable of genocide. But the Israelis happen to be the people committing it right now. And we should not reward that with money or excuses or running cover for them. We should flee from that, and we should scold them and do everything we can to make them stop and to wake up from this mania that has gripped that country, where normal, decent people think the only solution is to kill innocents. The only way they can be safe is to murder people. Like that. That's not true.
Yeah, just in case you had any illusions about who he works for. Don't have them. The Military Integration Bill, the Futures Act, and the NDAA, which is the National Defense Authorization Act. U.S. and Israeli military and technological interests began earlier this year as a standalone bipartisan bill called the United States Futures Act of 2026. More recently, the core elements of that act have been folded directly into the 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, specifically debated as Section 224 in the House and Section 219 in the Senate. And most people are talking about the House, the Congress, and what's being debated there, which is joining the militaries at the hip. So expand the integration of U.S. and Israeli defense industrial sectors, focus areas of artificial intelligence, autonomous weapons systems, cyber warfare, quantum machine learning, and missile defense. Critics argued this structure will embed Israeli tech directly into the American defense supply chain, making the military alliance virtually impossible to unwind or alter by future administrations. And it's deviously clever the way they have broken it out into two pieces, because the other part is the one that people should be having the most indigestion over. It effectively bypasses traditional recurring congressional oversight and approval votes. That's once it's in place. But the second part is what's going through the Senate the Senate Intelligence Sharing Mandate, Section 622. It explicitly amends the historic National Security Act of 1947 to legally mandate that the U.S. government expand and enhance intelligence sharing with Israel. The focus spans counterterrorism, cyber operations, missile defense warning, and geospatial intelligence. Did you know that there was a geospatial intelligence agency in the United States? Neither did I. They used to call it the Department of Mapping or something like that. The lock-in clause, crucially Section 622, strips away a layer of executive flexibility. It dictates that intelligence sharing with Israel cannot be suspended, reduced, or materially limited by a U.S. president unless the president explicitly determines and proves that a specific and identifiable national security concern justifies the reduction. Any change must be reported to Congress. And obviously why it's controversial, permanent intelligence streams could legally tie U.S. intelligence feeds directly to Israeli military targeting systems. And this is the big one right here. There's no reciprocity clauses or human rights stipulations. The reciprocity clauses would mean that the U.S. could look at Israel's shit and Israel could look at the United States' shit. According to this intelligence agreement, Israel has full viewing priority over the United States' sensitive data, but the United States is not allowed to look at Israel's stuff. And to get into, I know that's outrageous, isn't it? Getting into why that is this automatic co-belligerent status that it would cause if it was both ways. And obviously the United States knows, the people that put this together, which is not necessarily the corporation known as the United States, but they know damn well that under the secret plans, not so secret plans of the Greater Israel Project, Israel's going to be doing a lot more crazy horse shit if these assholes' plans go forward. And the United States wants to avoid any international legal implications of being a co-belligerent. So not having reciprocity, they think that's going to protect them. That's what it comes down to. So, yeah, they're two separate pieces of legislation. And I think one passed through Congress, the first one. But the second one, this isn't well known. People didn't even know that this was being debated in the Senate. The mandate to expand and legally lock in geospatial and tactical intelligence, which geospatial and tactical intelligence would be all of the stuff that's in the sky. So for targeting data for these crimes against humanity, Israel can get a belly full of it without the United States being able to look at what they're doing so they can avoid liability. That's what it comes down to. But this officially passed the 2027 Intelligence Authorization Act on a massive bipartisan 14 for and 3 against vote. Did you know that this happened? Of course not. So this is what I wanted people to look at and why I think this is such a big deal. The procurement loophole. Now, aid is voted on by the Congress for Israel. It gets rubber stamped. Everybody's for it because they've all been bought and paid for a long time on both sides of the aisle. And they needed to find a way, since the tide was turning against Israel in international sentiment, starting in 2025. So instead of U.S. giving Israel a pool of money to buy American weapons, what they decided to do is the funding is pulled directly from the U.S. Department of Defense's domestic procurement and research and design budgets. The result is the future expenditures get buried deep inside the trillions of dollars of classified or highly dense Pentagon line items. It no longer registers as foreign aid to Israel, so it's not debated. Congress doesn't have anything to do with it. It is legally categorized as U.S. military modernization. Congress will still vote on the massive overall defense budget, but a lawmaker or a taxpayer trying to audit exactly how many U.S. dollars went directly into fueling Israeli military technology will find it nearly impossible to decouple from general American military spending.